I'm Sam McClaren, and over the next 8 months I'll be building a single McClaren guitar. However, I'll be inviting some of my favourite musicians into the workshop to help me build this guitar. By the end of the journey, the guitar will be given to a deserved musician to help build their own story with it. To get started with this instrument, I couldn't ask for a better guest than folk musician Katherine Priddy. Today, we'll be starting on the soundboard and selecting the other Tonewoods for the guitar. This is the Luthier Sessions. So Katherine, we're going to start with selecting the top for our new P-16. Okay. So it's pretty exciting. Spruce, I'd say it's quite boring. Because it is just lines going across, but each line on that board is its winter growth. So you can see the slightly thicker lines here.
So is that how you can age it?
Yeah, so if you think of the summer growth, that's the slightly whiter part, and then the winter is the dark part. So each winter is, so that's its age really.
Okay, cool.
You can see in winter here it's grown a bit longer and is a bit stiffer in that area.
So you keep the horizontal
Yeah.
stripes.
This top specifically is quite nice. It's got a bit of colour in because of the slightly wider winter growth lines. And then we've got a few other tops which is quite normal looking.
This is a stupid question, but is there a right way up?
So that one's quite a good top because you've got them lines perfect. It's easy to work out where it's book matched. So basically when you have a billet of spruce, you cut it down the middle, open it like a book, and we're going to join it in the middle like that. So that is quite a nice piece for that look. And we're also going to kind of...
There's not many marks on that one, is there?
No, it's quite a plain piece.
Which is fine.
I like plain.
Yeah.
Not many people do.
For the front.
Yeah, I think so. We're also going to check for sound on this as well. So what we're going to do is grab your piece of wood and we're going to hold it about a third of the way down.
Yeah.
And just hold it up to your ear and tap, and it should have a bit of a ring.
Oh yeah.
Something like that.
Oh, that one's deeper.
Okay, yeah. So they all have different tones. So we're going to keep it really simple and just go with the tone that we like the most.
Can you do that one again? Oh yeah, I like that one.
You like that one? Okay.
I like that one more than this one. It's not just because my hand's smaller. That's higher, isn't it?
It's slightly higher and it's a bit more...
Just a bit definite. I think we need to listen to them all in the same ear.
Yeah, that is a nice one. That's slightly more glacier-like.
Yeah.
And
that
then,
one just felt a bit more deeper and resonant.
Yep. And then this one's the middle piece. The resonance dies quite quickly on that one. So for me, I'd take away that one.
Okay.
We're going to be quite brutal with this, yeah.
You should just do the same there. Ooh. Oh.
Well, that's quite a nice one.
Yeah, it is nice, isn't it?
Sure.
Hold this one up again. It's got to be this one, I think.
Okay. That's the kind of decision making I like.
Said that this was not great to begin with. I just needed to listen.
No, we said this one was good because it has the cool lines down the middle. So instantly we had a connection with this one. So we will choose that as the top, but now we need to choose the back.
Yes.
So
I'm excited about it.
With the P-16s, we get an Indian rosewood back and sides. So I've selected a few here, which are quite nice.
Yeah.
They're a bit easier to match
up. It almost looks purpley.
Yeah, again, quite fresh. They'll go slightly darker.
Okay.
The darker lines in the wood anyway is like it's natural oils in the wood. So it can be a nightmare to work with Indian rosewood just because of the oils in it. And then we've got the 3 pieces there.
They're all quite different, aren't they?
They are. So again, we can just do the same technique and...
That one dies quite quickly.
That does die quite quickly. Let's try the next one.
Yeah.
I quite like that.
Yeah.
I quite like that.
Quite nice.
And then
I love the look of this one.
You like the look of this one?
I really like the look of that one.
Oh.
I thought that was quite a nice sound.
I quite like this, yeah.
I think that matches.
Yeah, my ooh was a ooh,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, I quite like that one. So you can also compare it to the top by sound as well. So you don't want it to be exactly the same note. Even though we're going to thickness it, the note will change a little bit, but to have them slightly apart at this point is quite nice. So we can test it. I'll put these ones to the side.
People always talk about the sound of like Tonewoods and stuff, but I didn't realise it was so distinctive.
Okay, so that's our top.
Oh, we picked such a good one there.
Yeah, the resonance of tops are very good, obviously, because they're doing the main part of the work.
Yeah.
Do you think they match quite nicely?
I think they do. They're slightly different pitches, but they're
Yeah.
both
I
have
think
a
they
nice
work
resonance
nice.
on them. I love how it gets darker to lighter.
Oh yeah, I think it's perfect. Good choice.
Great.
So that's us done on choosing the
The
woods.
contrast is really nice between the two as well.
So now we're going to join the soundboard and get prepared for that, really. Okay, so we've got two options. So I won't say which one my preference is.
Is this purely aesthetic now, or is this sound?
There's a bit of structure and there's a bit of aesthetics. So we're going to look at the end grain here.
Yeah.
So you can see this is quite 90 degrees grain, and then it goes slightly off, which is quite nice. The grain here is quite close together, which means it's quite strong area.
Okay.
And to be honest, I prefer to have that in the centre.
Yeah.
Because that allows the edges to vibrate a little bit more.
Well, I think it's nice having this slightly paler stripe down the middle as well.
I think so
that
too.
Works well.
So we can grab a pencil and just go. That is going to be our face. So we just need to remember that.
Okay.
When we come to joining, it's quite a simple job, but you need quite a decent technique. How good is your woodworking skills?
Well, I've never done it, so I don't know. It could be brilliant.
This is pretty.
Could be an undiscovered talent.
It's a pretty easy tool to use because.
Is that a planer?
Yeah, it's called a number 5 jack plane.
Okay.
The only way to do this job well is to have a very fresh, sharpened plane. We can adjust it by turning this little knob in here, so that'll bring it out.
Okey-doke.
And then this little thing here will bring it like that,
Right.
side to side. And because we're shooting, we want it 90 degrees. So shooting is the name for the technique of shooting the board like that. So just bring it back.
So why do you take a bit off? Just to give it a clean edge.
Yeah, clean edge, and it's not always flat. So you can see I've done a plane there, but it's not actually touched in the middle. I'm holding the plane around this edge here, and then all I'm doing is just pushing it along.
Okay.
And you can hear it touching every so often, which means it's just not flat at the moment.
I'm scared.
And there's your blade, so the blade wants to start at the very back.
Oh, it's heavy.
Oh yeah, it's not a light plane.
Is this about right?
Yeah, and make sure that's pushed up against there, and then just all the way through, and you should be okay.
Oh! Okay, I have to... I didn't mean to make that noise. That was an involuntary noise.
Is it a bad time to start asking questions right now?
Yeah. You have to be a bit firmer than I wanted
perfect
to.
there.
Oh no,
you
I
had
can't.
to start perfect.
Oh god. It's harder than it looks. Okay, hang on. I'm worried I'm going to mess this up.
You won't.
Give someone a broken guitar.
Lovely.
Okay.
So now we hit the other side as well, just to match it up.
I think I was expecting it to feel more like a cheese grater, and it didn't at all, and I think that's thrown me off slightly.
No, it's like...
My only point of reference.
I know, I'm trying to think what it's like now. It's like a plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can do exactly the same with this one.
I thought it was going to feel like something, but...
This won't be as smooth, this one, because we haven't planed this edge yet.
Okay. You sure you want me to do it?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, I think the comments are probably going to come at me on this one.
What are they going to say?
They won't like my shooting board.
Oh, that felt good.
That was a good one. That was very good.
And I feel like that achieved something.
That was very good. So we do that again.
Okay. Do it again, but better.
No. Do it again exactly how you did it.
Okay. What are they not going to like about your shooting board?
It's a bit short. It's a bit short. Which
Is that salvageable?
It's perfect.
Great.
We can look at matching it up with our pencil lines, and we can use our light here to shine on us. And what we kind of do is hold it like that, and we can feel it's not wanting to sit perfect at the moment. It's still a bit wobbly, and when we hold it up to the light, it shows in the middle. Can you see a bit of light coming through in the joint?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So all we've got to do is just get rid of all the light across the board.
So that means you need to do some more shooting?
Yes, exactly.
Do I need to do anything different or just keep going?
Exactly what you were doing, yeah.
Definitely feels better with a finger up there. Hang on.
Don't include that bit.
Hang on, okay. Right, don't, because I'm going to laugh.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, really good.
Do you want any more?
Yeah, go maybe 2 more passes.
Okay. Oh, that was a bit... Oh, shouldn't have stopped.
Keep going. It picks it back up quite easy. The sound's always really nice as well when you do it.
Sounds great.
Okay,
Definitely
and
wobbled
then we'll
away
do this
slightly.
one. So I think by the time this video is released, your 3rd album will be out.
Yes, which
Which
I'm
is pretty
very excited
exciting.
about.
Yeah. And
It's
you've
been-
had, at the moment, 2 singles come out. 3 singles come out.
3 singles come out. I think
That's
you'll be able
perfect.
to relate in that it's a very long process with an album, and then by the time it comes out, you're kind of excited and also incredibly nervous.
Yeah, because
You
when
sit on it
I
for such a long
first met
time.
you, you were bringing out your 1st album. And there was a bit of a delay in that because of COVID, wasn't there?
Yeah, big time.
But I guess it gave you time to get ready for it.
Yeah, I think the first album in some ways is the easiest because there's no expectation, and you've got
Yeah.
all the time in the world, and you can play the songs forever. And then suddenly, once you've got 2nd and 3rd, people are waiting
more
for one,
things
and you've
to
set
do.
yourself a precedent. So
I thought there was quite a big difference in the first 3 singles that have come out compared to your last
Yeah.
album and the one previous as well. What was the change in that then?
you know, when they use the expression "the difficult 2nd album,"
Yeah.
I always thought that was just that, but that is definitely a thing, and I think
Okay.
because when you've done the first one, like I said, no expectations. Second one, you think, oh, people are, you have a bit of like a mental panic about it. So I think the second one almost just reinforces the first one. But then when you get to the 3rd one, I felt more like it was an opportunity to have a bit of a fresh start.
Do what you want kind of thing.
Do what you want. And I think this time around, I've just gone with the mentality of say yes and have a go and just have fun with all the songs rather than worrying too
What
much.
people think.
I worried a lot about the second one,
Yeah.
whereas this one, I just had so much fun.
Yeah, I think
So-
it's probably similar in guitar design where you kind of probably worry about what people think about things, but if you don't do you, then you've got no chance.
Yeah.
So,
I tried to treat each song as a individual thing and not look at it too much like, oh, how's this album going to be received? It was more just how best do I serve each song.
yes.
That was kind of what I tried to go with.
That's very good.
Yeah.
And well, I've enjoyed the first 3 singles, so I'm looking forward to the rest of the album.
Thank you.
Right, let's have a look how we are on the joint now. It already feels a bit more stuck.
That's nice of you to say.
What have we got?
Ooh.
Is there a gap in the middle, or
Um,
I'll move it
I
side
don't know,
to side?
actually.
That's looking pretty good. There's a slight gap in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
You see
just
a bit
yeah.
of light?
Does that need a little bit? I think that might be where...
So sometimes that can be a little bit of technique because...
Yeah. I think it's probably all technique. I'm going to put it out there. So.
No, it's not.
Or lack of.
We'll bring it back a little bit, so we've just retracted the blade a little bit, so it's going to take even less off now.
Okay.
And then in your mind when planing, you kind of want to take more pressure on here, lay it off a little bit in the middle,
Okay.
and then back on the other side as well.
Okay.
So we'll just do maybe 2 pounds. So already you can hear it
Yeah.
touching
Did
either
you hear
side.
me try and...
Yeah, it was very good. Perfect.
slightly-
One more just like
One
that.
more like that. Okay.
Perfect. And then we'll do
Right.
the same on this one.
One more like that.
Yeah, perfect. And with the new album, was it a very different setting, recording, songwriting-wise, compared to what you've done before?
Yeah. This is my first time doing a residential recording process.
Right, okay.
So I went down to rural Devon for 3 weeks.
Love Devon.
During a heat wave. And we were in the like rural, like countryside.
How did you get any work done?
You know what? Easily, because we were so isolated, and it was such a beautiful studio.
Yeah.
And basically, I was sleeping in the studio. There was a little bedroom and a kitchen, and the 4 of us were just living there and waking up every morning and
Straight in the studio.
Straight in the studio. Nighttime. We watched a lot of Stathlet's Flats. I don't know if you've ever watched that.
I have watched that, yeah.
It was kind of make some food, Stathlet's Flats, bed, wake up, straight back in the studio again. So you were just living and breathing the songs for 3 weeks, and I hadn't done that before. But I think waking up with that mindset every day, I was so inspired, and it felt like a complete bubble. You just forget about the outside. We went to the pub a couple of times.
I think that's quite nice, yeah.
Yeah, you go to the pub and it's kind of, oh, there's people.
Yeah.
But it was great because you can just focus.
And I think in the studio as well, you are locked in there.
Yeah. And so you go there with a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
Because we, as well, like I had this deadline, couldn't afford more time. So it was like, I go there and know I have to get the album done within this time frame.
Yeah.
And it just makes you, and then Rob, the producer, Rob Ellis, was brilliant at steering the ship and kind of saying, which I needed, every now and then he'd say, let's move on. I think you've got enough takes there.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to fixate, but he was really good at kind of keeping things flowing and...
Yeah, I think the same with a guitar. Sometimes you just need to know when to move on. Otherwise you go too far with things and then you're like, oh, I've messed it up.
If you're a perfectionist and what you do is your craft and your art, you almost need someone with an external, like, objective perspective, really.
I think so, yeah.
Objective perspective. That's what we should have called the album.
We've done our 2 passes there on each board.
Ooh.
I think that we've got a slight gap.
I don't know.
No, I think it's pretty
I think that looks pretty good. Tiny one here.
Oh, we do, yeah. Good spot. And that just goes till about here.
So what do I need to do?
So we're going
to avoid that bit.
We're going to move on to a different plane now.
Oh, okay.
Which is slightly bigger, and we're going to use the number 7 joint plane.
A new plane field.
Oh, you're coming up with the puns. We tried to come up with some puns yesterday, and they're horrendous. But if you look down there, you can see the blade just sticking out a tiny, tiny bit. Can you?
No, it must be just.
It is the tiniest bit.
Wow, okay.
I think this one's a little bit harder to use now.
Yeah.
It's a bit heavier, if you have to take the feel of that.
Yeah.
And then...
Can confirm. Okay. Going...
Exactly what you've done.
Same pressure all the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's stiff.
That was perfect.
That was very slow.
Slow is absolutely fine. We're not in a speed race.
God, you have to have strong hands for this. Not weak little musicians. Soft musician hands.
You play guitar, though.
The soft hands of an artist.
Spot on. Lovely.
Pressure.
Because we're coming down to the final bit now, we tend to check it a bit more often. Get that bit of dust
It's just
out.
slowly getting smaller and smaller. We're going to end up with a
really small guitar. Yeah, ukulele. Can you see any? It feels really good.
Tiny bit, but maybe not.
Oh yeah, we've got a tiny bit at the end. And... tiniest gap there.
How perfectionist are we being here?
We need it perfect.
Perfect. Correct answer.
Because if you think about it, when we clamp this up and there's a bit that's a slight gap and we've clamped it up just at that bit to get the glue joint decent, over the years that's just going to pop open.
Yeah.
So the trick to having a longevity in guitar is...
a perfect plane.
Perfect join, yes.
Perfect join.
So we can do one more pass on each one and hopefully...
Oh, the tongue's coming out.
Concentration face. That's why I stopped playing guitar. I had a really bad concentration face.
I've got a terrible guitar face.
Why is it a thing?
I like bring my nose down and go... I do like
That's not that
Keira
bad.
Knightley impression when
Mine
I'm playing
was
guitar.
that tongue out, biting on my tongue, and I don't know why I do it.
Biting on your tongue?
Yeah.
Gosh. This one?
Yeah.
It's almost like I know what I'm doing now.
With the new album, was a lot of the songs written before you got into the studio?
They all were. But
Okay.
again, because of the nature of... I had 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I kind of had that time in mind. I needed to be as prepared as I could going in.
Yeah.
So they were written over the course of like a year-ish.
Yep.
And then one of them, Hurricane, was written about 2 weeks before we went in, because the producer called me and said, these are great, KP, but I think you've got a groovy song in you that you've never written before. And I was like, oh.
Okay.
So he set me a challenge, and I love a challenge. So I did. I wrote a little groovy little number.
Well, that's a little bit of a theme on all the albums, isn't it? Because I remember Letters from a Travelling Man was kind of a little bit different to the rest of the other tracks.
I think it's important, and that's again why you need a good producer to say, this is great, but I think we can push it a little bit further. How are we looking?
We're good up until the last 30 mil.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is, when you're playing it, do exactly what you're doing, but just
Lean in
come off
slightly. Oh, come off.
a tiny bit
Okay.
earlier.
This is what carrying guitars has led up to.
Perfect. And we do the same
I came
on
off
this one.
completely. Was that okay?
Yeah, no, that's what you want to do. Because we had a slight gap, we don't want to touch that bit.
Sure.
You got that? Yep.
Oh, I think I shaved the end a little.
A little bit of the end. But just remember, when the guitar shape's cut out, we actually don't use the very end. So.
Okay.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's spot on. There's no gaps.
Yay. And we cut that bit off, right?
Yeah, that bit's cut off. So, yeah, we're all good. So that's
Excellent.
ready to join, and we'll get that glued up.
Nice.
Really proud to have Nudie Jeans sponsoring us throughout the Luthier Sessions. I'm wearing the Solid Ollie pair, and Catherine, you're kitted out in the Dusty D's.
Yes.
And
Flair.
Nudie Jeans t-shirt as well.
I know. I'm all branded up.
I can't wait to see how these wear throughout my workshop, and what they'll look like by the end of the 8 months. Yeah, I think you'll be wearing yours on tour soon, won't you?
I will. I'm going to, yeah, I like the little flair to them, so I think.
They look great.
Always looking for some new wardrobe for touring, so it'll be good, yeah.
Cool, thank you. And I'll do the other side.
Righty-tighty.
That's good. So it's really simple. So basically when we knock the wedges in, it just knocks the joint together.
Got you.
And pushes it up against here. So a simple just test is just knock a couple in like that. And we've got no movement whatsoever on the joint.
Great.
So it's really easy. We're just going to knock them in. But obviously when we add the glue on, we don't want it to glue to the jig.
No. It'd be a disaster.
So you think there'd be some really amazing technique to doing that. There is not, it's just a piece of paper that goes underneath.
Oh, nice. Simple's best.
Exactly. And that can sit there like that. We'll do a little dry run first, just so it doesn't go wrong when glue's on.
Great. Good,
and you know what you're doing, and I know what I'm doing, like that. And then we grab and fill the wedges.
All of them?
Yeah. Just drop them in for now.
This one didn't go in very far either. Basically the ones I did.
We then, when we knock these in, we don't want the board to suddenly flip up like that. So that's why we have these here. And we've got clamps. So these work just by, I need a longer one there. That's why we do a dry run. So you kind of just hold it at the back like that, where the metal is, and then just...
Oh, that's a
Perfect.
horrible noise, isn't it?
These are my favourite clamps in the workshop.
Okay. Sorry for criticising the noise.
Can I move that?
I think they look like a rabbit.
There we go.
Rabbit clamps.
Do you think? Oh, what's the horn on the top though?
That's its ears.
That's all we have to do, and then we just with a hammer. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Just like, are you ready for tour? That's the big question.
I am ready for tour. I love touring.
You love touring?
I love it.
Some people don't like touring.
I know, but every now and then I speak to a musician who says they don't like touring, and I think, why are you doing this? Because it's the main source of income for me, but it's also the treat. I feel like being a musician is actually quite an isolated job a lot of the time.
Oh yeah.
People only ever see you when you're not isolated, but actually most of the time you're at home writing, which is when you're a solo musician, I do that on my own.
Yeah, I
do
get
a lot
that.
of admin on my own, and the release process is I find quite stressful and isolating. And then the tour is like the treat at the end when you get to go and meet everyone, and I love it. I get such a kick out of it as well. I think you get quite addicted to the adrenaline.
Do you enjoy the travelling round part as well?
Yeah, I do. I get to go and see places.
Yeah.
There is no getting away from the fact that it's exhausting, and that is something that I'm very honest with other people who are just kind of like starting out. It's like, you can't. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Touring is really hard on the body and the mind, but I think you just have to be really careful in terms of finding little techniques that make it easier, little luxuries.
Do you have? Because a lot of people will have a lot of dates all in a short span of time. Do you have it like 3 days on and then a day off or something like that? I think
this tour is 5 days on, 1 day off.
Oh, okay.
Because, it's just totally, you have to work out what suits you. But I find if I've got too many days off, I never really get into the swing of things.
Yeah.
And sometimes then if you come back after 3 days off, you almost feel like you're starting again. Plus, when you're doing a lot of dates, which I think my tour is quite long, you just want to get it, pack it in. Yeah. It's great fun. I really enjoy it.
Because I know a few people that are touring at the moment as well, and they all have a pre-show ritual, but what's yours?
Ooh. I don't know if I really have one. I don't do warm-ups, which I'm probably should.
Just walk on stage?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I like to, on my last tour, I quite enjoyed putting on some really loud, really inappropriate music and having a quick kind of groove in the dressing room. Like really loud club music, just for a second, like some Venga Boys or something.
Okay, I was just about to ask
really
who do you
kind
play?
of get something out, and then you walk on and play your really sad folk music.
I quite like that.
But yeah, just try and chill. I'm not a huge fan of going out and talking to people before the show because I tend to find that can throw me off, but I love chatting to people afterwards.
But you're getting in the zone by dancing around, so it's just...
Yeah, and getting rid of some nervous energy, I think.
Yeah. Well, you got two people touring with you. Mm-hmm. Who are they, and do they annoy you on tour? That's the big question. I've
got George Bonesma, who I've toured with a lot.
Okay.
And so he doesn't annoy me on tour. Although he likes to be very quiet before his performances.
Yep, I think I'd be the same.
And then this time around, I'm touring with Andrew Stewart Buttle, who I've never toured with before. But I don't think he's going to annoy me.
No, get him a separate car if he does.
I've been very lucky. I only work with people I like, which I think is a good rule for life, really.
I think that's pretty good. So we're just using white PVA wood glue for this joint. It's strong, it's moisture resistant.
Other wood glues available?
There are other wood glues available, but Titebond is the best. We're going to just run a thin bead along this joint. It doesn't matter if there's too much, because it will squeeze out anyway. That's pretty good. Have you got the concentration face on as well?
I don't know, my eyebrows are doing something.
Nice, perfect.
Yeah?
Yep, so we can just pop that down.
Was that thin beading?
It's perfect, yeah. And then we can go like that, and then what you want to do is just go like that.
Okay.
Just kind of wiggle it. Perfect. That just makes sure the glue gets everywhere and in all the joints.
Got you.
With the new album, obviously, you've got a few more instruments in the recorded version. How are you translating that onto the stage?
I mean, not completely. I always think, personally, I like it when I go to a gig and it isn't exactly like the album, because then I start to think, well, I could have just sat home and listened to the record.
Yeah.
But I'm so it's more trying to find ways to recreate some of the melodies that are on the album, some of the instruments for sure, but also just generally some of the kind of atmosphere and feeling. And ideal world, I'd have the strings, the brass, the great percussion, everything, but
the full orchestra.
You can do quite a lot with 3 people, particularly when you've got 2 talented multi-instrumentalists behind me, who can just create some really nice atmospheres and the vibes, you know?
Yep, and you don't want to replicate the album every time, so it's...
No, it's nice to do something a bit different sometimes, I think, so, yeah.
I think if you played the same song, like the same way over and over, I think you'd probably get a little bit bored of it.
Yeah.
So there is...
It's fun trying to come up with a different way to present an album live.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm coming to the one in Leeds.
Oh, nice.
So I'm looking forward to that one.
Great.
I'll be in the crowd. So I will be shouting for you to play Venga Boys from the back of the room.
Cool.
Just to keep every folkie happy.
Yeah, I mean, I've been really enjoying covering metal songs recently. Not live, but at home.
Interesting.
I really enjoy, I just did like a Deftones cover the other day. I really like taking a song that is as far away from gentle songwriting as possible and trying to turn it back into it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I love metal and kind of some weird proggy stuff, and I think actually there's a lot of like harmonies and melodies in there which have a lot in common.
That's quite strange because a lot of folkies do like the heavier stuff as well.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think a good song is a good song no matter the genre.
Yep.
And so sometimes I think it's a good exercise as a musician to take something and try and turn it into something else.
Can we have both clamps on?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was just rabbiting on.
Yeah. And then flick it up. Perfect. Right,
Yeah.
okay. I'll grab the hammer and you just want a little tap at first on each wedge. Yep.
Enough?
And then next one. And work your way along.
Is this just offcuts of wood that you've used?
Yeah, they're pretty tough pieces. These are teak. There's a sycamore one there.
Sorry.
But as long as it's...
R.I.P. microphone. This one.
Yeah, Soundman's not happy right now. Okay, and then what we want to do is, really that's kind of built the pressure up in this area.
Yeah.
So we're just going to release the clamp, but still holding on to the back of it, and then just tighten it back up again. And same on the other one. Cool, and then one hit on each wedge for luck. Perfect, the soundboard is joined.
Yay!
At the end of this build, it's not going to a shop shelf, it's going into the hands of a songwriter who's ready to take their music to the next level. If you're a songwriter under the age of 30, I want to hear your story. To enter, you just need to do these things. Subscribe to this channel, enter your email address, and send us a 30 to 60 second video of you playing an original piece of music. Tell us who you are and what this guitar would mean to your journey. We aren't looking for the fastest player in the world, we're looking for the right voice for this instrument. Entries stay open until the final string is tuned. Let's build something that lasts. Okay, so now we've got it out the clamps, we can start playing it down and find the kind of true colours in the wood. And we just use the jack plane for this. Can you guess why it's called the jack plane?
No.
It's the jack of all trades. It does everything.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, so I've set it back to kind of taking a nice amount off.
Great.
Do you want me to start it and then show
Sure.
you?
Okay, yeah.
we'll
You
switch
go
places. So we've got this slight ridge where we've joined. So I'm just going to
Oh, nice.
plane along.
So you're covering that. You're doing it across the whole board.
Yeah, the trick is with this section is if I went directly down the board like that, where the blade is perfectly going
Like a
across,
groove.
it rips the grain. Whereas if you go on a slight skew, it cuts it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like that.
Nice.
And then when we get low and get rid of a lot of the saw marks, it will start to really
Do
shine
you get many
through.
splinters in this line of work?
The worst are ebony and rosewood splinters. Always get them.
Is that just because they're really hard woods? Or...
Yeah, and it sticks in and it doesn't ever come out.
Ugh.
So I usually get a scalpel and cut them out.
Oh,
But,
great.
Yeah.
Really glad I asked.
But spruce is not too bad.
Okay.
So it's quite easy. We can do that. When you're laying it down, you kind of want to put a bit of weight on here. Mm-hmm. But when you get to the end, you don't want to keep that weight on there because it'll just tip over.
Is that about the right angle?
Yeah, perfect.
And I'm just pushing it
Yeah,
forwards.
just push it forwards. It takes a bit of energy.
Really hard. Okay.
Did I make it look
I
a
don't
little
need
bit
to do
easy?
that, do I? Have I ruined that?
No, that's perfect.
So I need to just push a bit harder,
Yeah, you push down and push forward, yeah.
like that.
Perfect, yeah. Just make your way across.
Sounds a bit like a TARDIS,
Oh, yeah.
doesn't it?
I'm going to be controversial here, but I don't like Doctor Who.
Whoa.
Do you like Doctor Who?
I did as a kid. I haven't watched it for about a decade.
Not a fan at all.
2 decades maybe.
But I know the noise, yeah.
More?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. We've got to take quite a bit off, so.
Okay. This is really fun.
So now you can see all the saw marks are just disappearing that we had on there.
Yeah, the wood looks really nice.
Yeah. Okay, and then we'll turn it round and carry on. Try and do it as evenly as possible.
Yeah. Doesn't feel like it's cutting as much on this side.
It won't at first because it's just taking the top of the saw marks off.
Makes sense.
And then when you get a bit low, it takes more and more.
Don't do that bit very well. Oh yeah.
So one thing I want to talk about with every guest is gear talk.
Yes.
Obviously with the new album, you might have to have a few more effects going on. But what have you been touring with the past few years, even though I know the answer to this?
My trusty McClaren. Yeah, I've been using one of your guitars for quite a while now.
Yeah.
And I love it. I'm very protective over it. And it gets a lot of compliments. I'd say because I don't really use much by way of gear. I've never been like a big kind of gear more.
Yeah, a little bit more, please. Just down.
Never been a big like gear head. I don't know why.
That might be changing soon, though.
Yeah, but I feel like it's like Pandora's box, isn't it? Once you start, you never see someone with one pedal.
Yeah. Say goodbye to meals out and everything now because you'll be buying
hip,
pedals.
I'll do it a bit better down here.
So when you start it, just start a bit more there,
Okay.
and then the blade will just catch it. Perfect.
Nice.
But you've got the McClaren P-16, which is the one we're making today. So spruce top, Indian rosewood, mahogany neck.
Yeah.
And we reinforce that with carbon fibre, so I think that's probably one of the good reasons it's done so well on tour.
Judded.
Are you okay?
Should do a bit more over the top of it.
One more pass going across all the board, really, and then it should be okay that side. And then we'll flip it again.
I also use some LR Bags pedals. Because, it's an LR Bags pickup, and I've got some LR Bags like, this is all juddery here. Am I ruining it?
Don't worry, we'll go slightly finer in a minute. So.
Oh, okay.
It's strength, push down, yeah.
That
was perfect.
It's needed some more muscle.
There we go, now we'll flip it. So the LR Bags pedals, are you using that for effects or is that just...
Yeah, a bit of reverb and things like that. But I think on the album, I'd like to create some kind of samply. I love tape sounds, but also like revert. You know when you get like random reversed notes and like those sorts of strange little kind of...
You have a lot of that on the start of a lot of your records.
Yeah,
so...
I love all that. So it'd be nice to find a way to kind of bring more of that stuff in to my live sound. But as well, I think I've just always been a bit nervous about getting stuff wrong in a live setting. So because it's just not a world I've investigated
the more
much.
effects you add, do you think?
Because I started more like the folk scene where it's just acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Same again, yeah.
But yeah, so I would like to invest in more gear, but where does it end? That's the question.
I think that's the danger. You could be walking around with a suitcase full of pedals soon.
Well, that's another thing because I've often toured solo and on the train. I keep my setup quite light.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say, I think this new album does have a bit more kind of like fun with the production. So if I was gonna, it might be a nice time to try some new things.
Yeah, it'll be good fun. And yeah, again, looking forward to hearing that live and seeing what you do with it.
Well, because I work with other musicians live as well, that helps.
I was going to say, because you've done a lot of collaborations on records. Mm-hmm. How do you find that process of songwriting for that? Is that someone coming to you with a song most of the time and saying, do you want to...
really messing this up.
You're not all. We'll back it off a little bit. Are you heading into the studio with a song written, or are you heading to a studio where you both write that song?
For collaborations?
Yeah.
It's been a bit of a mix really. I've done quite a lot of remote collaboration.
Yeah.
I've done some with Poet Laureate Simon Armitage, where he wrote the lyrics and I wrote the tune, and that was really fun because I've always felt like my strong point is lyrics. So it was actually really it was very good for me to take that out of the equation completely and just focus on melody.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, it's been different things for different people, but I love collaborating.
Yeah, I think some of the favourite ones have been the poet Simon Armitage, and they've been, I think, your latest collaborations. You've also done one with John Smith.
Yeah.
And George Boomsma, who's been mentioned already.
Yeah. I think and there's a couple of songs on this album, actually. There's one that I co-wrote with George and then worked with Richard Walters, who's sung on it. And another one that's a duet with Torres, an American singer-songwriter.
Nice.
So those are songs that I wrote, but then gave to someone else to sing with me.
That's quite cool.
Yeah, it makes. I think I like collaboration because it takes you out your box and gives you different ideas because everyone works differently.
Yeah.
And it makes you work differently. But also it just makes the world feel a bit smaller, which is really nice.
Yeah, I think they're giving ideas. I mean, when we go to guitar festivals, we're chatting to other guitar makers, so it's like just picking up ideas from them. And I guess it's the same in music. Yeah,
I think no one should ever be arrogant enough to assume that the way they do it is the best way. It might be the best way for you.
We are perfect.
But we are better than everyone. No, I think we're always learning, and I think you can learn so much from each other. So.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Light work, Sam.
There we go. Right, that's them.
More?
Yep.
Just same again?
Yeah, exactly the same.
I'm being too tidy.
The grain's really coming through now, so nicely as well now.
From about here?
Yep.
Right angle?
Yep, perfect. You feel like it's not taking anything, but it's just taking the high spots, so.
Like there.
We've chosen a very nice top.
I think so.
So this top's from Italy, and you'll get it in the Alps, so
Alpine
really
spruce.
slowly grown, which means it's really strong.
This is the same as my guitar, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. I was saying earlier, I think mine has changed colour.
Yes.
Over the last few years.
Yeah, I think that's one
probably
nice
from all the tea
things.
and coffee I've spilt on it while I've been playing.
Oh.
Never.
At least no like cigarette burns or anything.
No, never. I'm really protective of it. I was in Nashville recently.
Nice.
Was it in Nashville? Oh, it's the Memphis one, Sun Studios in Memphis.
Yeah.
And they had a piano that had a big
Burma.
cigarette mark. But there's videos, photos of like Elvis and stuff playing that piano, and it was really cool to see that history. What?
Yeah, how was Nashville? Because I know you went over there.
It's like Disneyland.
Yeah, Disneyland for musicians, I imagine.
Yeah, it's amazing. You come away feeling the urge to be better at your instrument.
Yep.
But it wasn't an amazing place, but yeah, it was just kind of felt like Disneyland for musicians. But also I was in a tornado while we were there, which was quite scary. So
okay, yeah,
not ideal. But it's also where I wrote Hurricane from the new album, and that's why I called it Hurricane, because I wrote the lyrics while we were sheltering from a tornado.
Right.
As you do.
That's a pretty good way to write a song then.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just needed to go to a happy place while I was sheltering in this bathroom from a tornado, and my happy place is writing lyrics. So.
Because is Hurricane the one with the gyro on, is it?
Guiro.
Guiro.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's a gyro? Gyro's the food, isn't it?
Gyro's the...
Yeah, the fish.
Yeah, we went right into the kind of Southern American Latino sort of bossa nova style for that one.
It was very good. So that's feeling pretty smooth there.
Yeah.
I think we need just one more pass on the other side.
Okay.
And then we'll be done.
I'll be firmer this time.
If you look at the grain as well, you see the shimmers going across the grain.
Oh, yeah.
That's called medullary raise. Medullary raise.
Wow.
And that shows that it's really well cut. So that only ever appears when it's really well quartered on. So it's really strong.
Nice.
So that's what you're looking for.
Okay. I'd never noticed a shimmer before.
And the dark lines are showing up nicely as well. So spot on.
I need to have a bit more height on it.
Maybe that's it.
I think that might not be helping. I can't put my weight on it.
The first time you're using woodworking tools and it's in front of cameras, you're doing really well. So.
Thank you.
Perfect. That feels really good.
Looks great.
And
it looks beautiful now.
Just going to finish it with a scraper, which this has. It looks like just a bit of metal, but if you run your fingers like that, you'll feel it's got like a little edge to it. And you can just take a little bit off. And again, I'm not really kind of...
Almost like takes a bloom off it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it dulls it down a little bit because that's sharpened to such a high grade. But this just kind of flattens the slight ridges that you might get from the edge of the blade.
Got you.
So what you want to do is fingers either side and just push with your thumb just to bend it. And you just go in across, same angle as what we were with the plane. And then switching sides and just doing it the other way.
Am I doing this?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, God.
Scrapers are like...
Which angle?
It would be like a 45, yeah. There you go. It's not as satisfying as planing because you don't get the big curls off it.
I know, I quite like this. Feels less like I'm going to ruin something. Have I just ruined it?
No, that's fine on the edge.
Yeah.
I think that looks good. And then we'll turn it round.
Oh, this is so satisfying. I think this might be the best bit I'm best at.
Do you think?
I think I've found my groove.
I think I used to scrape so many pieces of wood that my fingers would burn because it'd really heat up.
Look at that.
Perfect. Right, so our next job is just a little dot where we think the centre line is.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's not actually as easy to spot. Like there.
Yeah, perfect. And then you can draw the centre line.
Oh, Lord. I'm left-handed, so I'm...
Oh, you're left-handed?
Yeah. So
You're left-handed but play guitar right-handed?
I know. I actually taught myself left-handed to begin with, and then my dad came in and said, "You're playing that upside down." So I taught myself again. But even now, if I've had a couple of wines and I'm air guitaring, I automatically find myself doing that.
No way.
Yeah. Even though I literally do this as a living.
You could be like a Jimi Hendrix if you went the other way.
I know,
then.
I wish I could. I think there's one thing I can still play left-handed.
Right.
But because I only just started teaching myself when I flipped.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't realise it was upside down. And I did wonder why all the tabs, because I was learning from like an Irish tab book. I wondered why they were all so difficult to like, hold down. It's because of that.
I know a few guitarists now that play right-handed guitars left-handed.
Yeah.
And have the strings the other
There's
way
different,
around.
because there's another thing, I didn't realise that you can actually get left-handed strung guitars. I always assumed it was just a guitar held the other way, because that's how I... It's a whole world, isn't it? But yeah, rulers I have to have on this side.
I'll let you line it up if you want. Perfect. We get to decide which is up about and low about. Low about being the wider side. And because we've got a Perspex template, we can kind of see what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
So if you want a kind of a bit more of them lines, then we can move it a little bit further down.
That's nice. It's nice to get a bit of this in. And it bulges slightly here, which is nice to have at the bottom, I think.
Yep, I like that. So we think about there.
Yeah.
So we just line that up with the centre, and then you can draw.
Do you want to hold it?
Yeah.
Oops,
All the way
that
around.
matter?
Yeah, perfect. Magic.
Hey!
Follow it onto the other side.
It's starting to look like a guitar.
It's like a game of Twister.
If you hold down this edge a bit more. There we go.
Yes, boss.
I know, look at me, taking charge. It's like I'm on Blue Peter.
There we go. Yeah, we should have done the Here's one I made earlier.
Yeah.
And then we could have finished the guitar by the end of this.
That's so nice.
I really like the grain actually
Yeah,
running through
I
this,
know.
so it'd be
And
really
so this,
good to-
and when this darkens slightly, will that become more apparent, do you think?
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, it's because strange. It kind of carries the summer growth is a little bit darker anyway, so it kind of runs quite nicely
Maybe
through.
it was a cold summer.
Maybe. Okay, so we need to now cut out our shape, and the best way to do that is with a fret saw. You're doing really well.
Thanks.
Are you enjoying it or not?
I am. I keep getting dust in my face. It's tickly.
on, keep it moving. There we go. Woo!
Jagged it.
Perfect.
Jagged it. Oh.
Well done.
Are you meant to wear goggles for this sort of thing? You're gonna get in trouble.
We probably should have put goggles on. Are there any artists that you might know that have amazing woodworking skills?
I don't know any who definitely do, but I can imagine a few that might have some.
Yeah.
I would say Richard Thompson, possibly.
Oh, okay.
Just because he seems like quite a kind of
Woodworking
calm,
kind of person.
practical man.
I can see that.
Yeah. I'd tell you something else I like is that, you know, like the sleaze rock bands like Motley Crue, they've all got in, well, not all. I think one of them I used to follow on Instagram and he'd really got into flower arranging and stuff like that. So don't discount the old metal.
Interesting. I quite like
you
that.
know, it's a change from the rock and roll pace.
Other than songwriting, do you have any other kind of creative outputs?
I knit and I crochet. I find it really calming, and I often do it backstage actually before gigs.
Yeah, I like that.
It's nice to make something else. I also like drawing,
Okay.
painting, a bit of lino cutting,
Oh, okay.
all sorts of.
There's some
making.
quite good places in York that do all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
I think it was Joni Mitchell said that when she's feeling uninspired with music, she turns to another art, so she paints as well. And she described it as having like fallow time. So she'll leave music, she doesn't force it, and then she'll do something else. And then when that starts to, so I think it is good to have other creative.
I definitely have
outlets.
things where I don't make guitars like for a week, and I just make some else.
Yeah.
I just need it.
Yeah.
Nudie Jeans are built to last, but what's one item of clothing you're holding on to even though it's falling apart? There must be something.
There is. I've got a shirt that was my dad's.
Okay.
And it's from South America. It's this colourful stripy shirt. I actually wore it for the front cover of my Eternal Rocks Beneath album.
Nice.
I grew up with it in the fancy dress box because he didn't like to wear it anymore.
Yeah.
But then I actually loved it so much that it kind of came full circle. And when I got a bit older, I was like, actually, that's a really cool t-shirt. And I've still got it, but the inside is really bright and colourful. The outside's so faded because of wearing it in the sun. Yeah.
That's quite cool.
So I'll never get rid of that.
Who's your go-to listen at the moment?
Ooh, at the moment, I've been getting quite nostalgic recently. I've been listening to a lot of like old kind of rock and stuff like Deftones and things.
Oh, okay.
Which is not very in keeping
They had
with
a
my
tour
music.
recently as well, didn't they?
Yeah. I've been enjoying a lot of John Grant as well,
Yeah.
who I love. I love his lyrics. And I also always find myself returning to Father John Misty.
Yeah, my brother's the same.
Big fan.
Do you have any food that's a guilty pleasure?
Yes, although I would say never feel guilty about eating any food.
Yeah, fair enough.
But one thing that I'm a little bit addicted to at the moment is these they're called Borders ginger and dark chocolate biscuits. They're really fiery ginger biscuits coated in dark chocolate. And they only get about 6 in a pack. But I'm obsessed.
Yeah,
I think they're
it's
incredible.
worth it.
Yeah, they're like spicy. They're really good.
What's the TV show that you can't get into but everyone else seems to love? I have quite a lot.
Game of Thrones.
That's my one as well, yeah.
I watched the first series, got so confused as to who was who, Googled it, saw who died, and then gave up.
You got further than me. I got one
If anyone
episode
dies.
in.
If anyone dies.
Oh yeah, no spoilers.
I always think I should go back, but it seems like such a big time commitment now, so.
Yep. Date night, where are you going?
Some sort of Asian food hall. I don't want it to be fancy and fussy. I just want really good food.
I like that.
And a good, lively atmosphere.
Yep. And the final one, what's the most rock star thing you've done at one of your gigs?
Oh my gosh. I would love to say I've done anything rock star at my gigs. I don't think I'm very rock star,
You're not set a fire to a guitar and
No. I think what I would like, I have dreams of doing a stage dive one day.
Oh, that'd be quite cool.
And I think I mainly play in seated theatres, and I think maybe one day I'm just going to do it, not warn anyone, and just see what happens.
Yeah, I think it'd be more fun if everyone sat down and just
Oh yeah,
pass you along.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that as like my swan song one day.
That'd be quite cool.
I've always wanted to stage dive.
Oh,
Or crowd surf. Never done either.
That was the final one, so you're all good and you can enjoy that. It's been a great session in the workshop today. We've chosen the woods for the guitar. we've actually made a start on the soundboard and we've got the shape cut out, which is really good. And how's it been for you, Catherine?
It's been great.
Enjoyed your woodworking skills?
Yeah, and I've learned so much. I mean, I play guitar and I hold a guitar every day, but I have never really understood how it's made. So
yeah, I mean,
been special.
It's quite nice having Italian spruce like that. It's easy to work, and
yeah,
it's been quite fun, and it's been a joy to have you in the workshop.
Thanks for being patient.
Thank you. Catherine's album is out now, These Frightening Machines, on all platforms and on Catherine's shop, katherinepriddy.co.uk.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah, on to the next episode. We'll be working more towards building more of the guitar, and yeah, a few more guests to come. So we'll see who we get in. And thanks for Nudie Jeans for kitting us out for the workshop.